The state of Maine is deservedly known for many great things. But most people don't realize the opportunities that lie just beyond the beaten path. Most are at least aware of the legendary Allagash Wilderness Waterway, but far fewer pay much mind to its equally magnificent counterpart running parallel just 10 miles to the west. This is over 100 miles of uninterrupted wild river and an opportunity to leave civilization and modern life behind for an entire week. The first people called it Wolastoq, beautiful river. Today we call it the St. John. And for the next week, we're gonna call it home.
Now see how there's kind of a line and then flat water behind it? That's a big rock right there. Yep. So go right between them. We're okay. It's gonna get splashy. So there's a rock on the right, you see that? Yep. Yeah. All right, give me that draw. Yeah, stick it in there, yeah, there you go. See that brings us around, we kind of pivot around your paddle. Yep, perfect. Way to avoid that rock on the left. Forward. Good. Feels good to be back.
It's abbreviated.
Welcome to day one of this 7-day trip down the St. John River. I'm doing this trip again with the Mahoosuc guide service, but it's a completely new group of people this year. The only repeat customers are myself and Kevin, the trip leader. So, whole new group of people to meet.
What?
Yeah, I put a roof on.
We had an eventful ride in. We somehow managed to pop the trailer off of the hitch, so we had to fix that along the way, but made it to our put-in at Baker Lake just fine and made it down 5 miles to this wonderful campsite here at Turner Bogan. This is where we spent the first night last year as well, and I would say this is one of the better campsites on the trip, so I'm happy to be back. Water levels are quite a bit higher this year because this past week has been quite rainy. So the trip today, rather than bumping into rocks like last year, is mostly just high volume water and a lot of wave trains, which was neat. Today is Monday, and if you believe the forecast, it looks like it's going to be nice through Wednesday, and we're supposed to get a little bit of rain Thursday, maybe Friday, and then have sun again over the weekend. So we'll see how that pans out, but it's looking pretty good so far.
Yeah, I know.
Soil to the summits of a few mountains, and Katie had to try and revegetate them, right?
Okay.
Not that I don't see the value of the work with. They're like, no, SOS, save our. So anyway, it's SOS, these hikes.
That's good.
Brilliant, right?
That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
If you ever see that sticker,
That's good. That's good.
you know I've won. Whatever.
That's good. Do you want to go put in some cold water right now?
Well, it's not bad. I just wanted to clean the butter there so that the other side would melt.
Fire.
And then on the flip side, there's the last one.
I got this. And you're like, I don't got this.
I feel like I just smeared chocolate all over my chin.
Anyone covered?
Chilly morning this morning. Frost on just about everything. But we had a nice sunrise and clear blue skies to start the day. I think we're going to end up at Deucey Brook again for night 2. And I remember this section of river being pretty calm.
I'll get a spatula.
Couple years, you know, he'd fly in and out. Well, we wouldn't have got here.
On the lake. Yep. I don't think, it's not quite the scale I think it was.
Forward. All right.
So a bit of a chilly day here on day 2. When we pulled into Wolastoq, where the cabin was, I was on the verge of shivering, so I ended up layering up there. And in the meantime, I got a weather forecast, and it said it was 46 degrees, and the feels like temperature was 37. So it makes sense I was feeling cold. I was dressed a little lightly for that. When you combine that temperature with a pretty steady 10 to 15 mile per hour headwind, definitely felt raw at certain points during the day. Right around Morrison Depot, the gradient started to pick up. We started going through some really easy, just fun water sections, some swifts, maybe a class 1 here or there. So it was a fun ending to the day, and we landed at Deucey Brook here, same place where we camped night 2 last year.
At some point after supper, it doesn't have to be right at 7.
I wonder.
So the forecast that I got says that tomorrow will be sunny, which will be nice. It'll be a little warmer too. I think I saw 57 degrees. But then Thursday, we're pretty much definitely due for rain. I think it's like a 90% chance. So we're gonna get wet on Thursday. But the good news is that it looks like it clears up Friday and then stays clear through the weekend. So if the forecast is to be believed, we might get through this trip with just 1 rain day, which would be really nice. Another cold morning here at Ducey Brook. We didn't get the frost we saw yesterday morning, but there was a layer of ice in the water pots, so it still got below freezing. Seeing the sun again is nice though. I think we're going to try to make it to 9 Mile today, and we should be getting to some more interesting whitewater. The one good thing about the rain we're supposed to be getting tomorrow is it precedes a warm front, so nighttime temperatures should go up into the mid-40s starting tomorrow night.
Luke will be gone, and she'll call me Luke. I'll be like, he's not even here.
Yeah.
And then other trade routes that went west, but they had to avoid the Mohawk.
We've made it to Ledge Rapid, first named rapid on this trip. I think last year we started center and then moved over to River Right, ran the rest of the way down there. Thank you.
It is. You can hear it melting, huh? Wow. That's cool.
We've made it to the historic 9 Mile Bridge campsite. Across the river I can see the rock pile where I pitched my tent last year, but this year we're on river left, the west side, and this is the side where Helen Hamlin lived with her game warden husband in a cabin many, many years ago. The old location of the bridge is signified by this cable that now runs across the river, and the rock piles on each side of the river were the abutments where the bridge used to cross. It was a wonderful day today as expected, nice and sunny. And the whitewater action definitely picked up, especially after Ledge Rapids. We did about 20 miles today. It's the longest day we've done so far. I think that puts us at about 35 to 40 total. And tomorrow we'll be in the Seven Islands area, which I think was my favorite part of last year's trip, so I'm really looking forward to that. So as expected, there is some weather blowing in. We could see a ring around the sun in the afternoon, which usually signifies that weather is coming, and the breeze is kicked up and it's starting to get overcast now. I just got another weather forecast and we're supposed to get rain around 8 p.m. tonight, but things have shifted a little bit and I think they've shifted in our favor. It looks like the rain has moved forward, and actually the bulk of it's gonna hit tonight, and it might actually not even be raining tomorrow morning, which would be a real plus. I've got the tarp set up over my tent one way or the other just to make things easier tomorrow if it is still raining, but things are looking up.
See the field and, you know, lacrosse and all that, so they put Jasper on the team. Yep. As a senior. He was second line, but it was really cool.
Confirmed this morning that the plan is to go to Seven Island for tonight. That'll make today a shorter day than yesterday. There are a number of people on this trip who haven't been on this river before, so I'm looking forward to seeing their reactions once we get out there. So if I put my rain gear on now, then it won't rain while we're on the river. Right?
Yeah, now I know from the takeoff, and I got to see. Yep. The mating pair of mergansers.
Okay.
So you won't see male mergansers after they mate. They head out of here. They're bummed. They're scum.
Typical, am I right, ladies?
Yes, ma'am.
They're scum.
Well, if this was supposed to be our rain day, I'd say we got pretty lucky. quick and easy paddle to 7 Islands from 9 Mile. There are a few sections I remember being a lot more difficult last year, but the higher water this year has really smoothed some of those rapids over. But we got here a little bit after noon, and we have the rest of the day to enjoy this beautiful spot. It's just as amazing as I remember it.
Do you know what they are? They're old, nah.
Good, keep it to yourself.
To buy an expensive phone.
I get all my...
Yes, ma'am. I'm like, what language is this? Uh-huh. But they get rid of bad things that are happening in your body. And there's some tree.
No, he said this. Is this chewing or scarring antlers?
I thought he was
So
chewing.
this is chewing too.
Wow.
That's how big it is.
And this is old here.
Go down the shore. One of them just stepped back close to the shore.
One's going back in.
Wow, Troy, you're finding all the gems today.
You gotta call Moose back.
Moose.
Yeah, we're close. Yeah, Moosey, 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 Moosey.
There's a pretty old plane because it's
Got my SD card.
They'll probably change it now.
This is a tamarack. What? It's the only deciduous tree that grows back its needles.
No, I have a cousin named.
Oh my god. For reals. It's hanging.
It's like a little hammock nest.
It's amazing.
It's really cool.
Wild adventure, people.
No, I'm so glad that you walked around.
definitely. I think it's an area.
Yeah, that's what we were
Now, somewhere around here.
I was like wandering around in the trees, Sean found. Yeah, I wonder. And then, you know, there is that pipe going through, but one might be a feed pipe and then one might be an overflow pipe.
Snout up and like leave a.
right. Yeah, right.
Yeah. The, you know, the weird part about that.
So another fantastic day here on day 4 of the trip. Some rain moved in around when we had dinner, but that's cleared off. And tomorrow is looking to be partly cloudy all day and a high of 61. So it's going to be another great paddling day tomorrow. Last year on day 5, we made it down to Bassford Rips, and that sounds like it's the plan for this year as well. Kevin likes landing at Bassford Rips because that means we hit big black rapids pretty much first thing in the morning, and he likes doing that when everybody's fresh, so it makes sense. We spent some time after we got here exploring the area just south of the main campsite, looking at a bunch of the old ruins and leftover artifacts from back when this used to be an inhabited settlement. Neat to see all that stuff, just a completely different lifestyle those people must have lived all those years ago. Morning, day 5. Nighttime temperatures have risen as expected. Sleeping pretty well, fortunately. We're expecting partly cloudy skies today, slightly warmer. And I think I remember after the Seven Islands area, the river narrows up and the current really picks up, so our overall pace should quicken as we go further down the river.
Where was that Top Gun? It might be. Uh-huh. Yeah, and I also have a Ziploc bag to put it in to wash it later.
Back at my favorite site, Simmons Farm. Now that I've done a few trips up here, I've realized that this site's pretty much par for the course, but ended up here during my first trip to the North Maine woods, so it still feels special to me.
And he makes really simple stuff. And he's like, I just heard.
I don't think it'll get brown that
Currently, like half the like oddballs trying to check out the breast.
She's in a driving wheelchair.
Somebody's gonna come sit in my lap. Come write something.
Are you having a good day?
Did you guys add that metal piece to it?
Yeah, did you wash it? This is
Yeah, some of it's pretty good.
Tight. That's what we gotta do.
It doesn't have the same effect, but like, I don't know if you heard me telling how.
Looking pretty successful though.
Oh, those are good.
First dog went after a possum.
Which one?
Mowgli, yeah.
We do this. And you do this. The whole day long, or there'll be times where it is really good, right? Go adventuring.
Older people with overseas or whatever, and they go see to us. And she brought out her whole group and all put a hand on one of the injured trees and tended the trees.
Another lovely day. All the warmth that was missing during the beginning of the trip has finally arrived. We did about 12 or 13 miles today, which is similar to a couple of the other days that we've done, but today we got to camp around 1:30 and it felt like a much shorter day. And I think that's an indication of the increasing current down on this end of the river, as the river has gained volume from all of the tributaries we've passed by along the way.
You just start into the woods. Stuff where kind of
Kicking off day 6 with clear skies and warmer temperatures. I think it's supposed to hit 68 degrees today, so it'll be our warmest day. We're going to start off with Big Black Rapids, which will be the most technical rapid we've run so far. That's about 2 or 3 miles downriver. My bow paddler is electing not to run the rapid, so she's going to walk down with one of the guides, and that means that I'm actually going to run the rapid twice. So 2 opportunities to see it, but also 2 opportunities to screw it up.
We'll decide once we see it. Okay? Everybody saddled up?
Yup.
Okay. Let's go say hi to Big Black.
That back pedal for me.
And then you're probably gonna have to move. I watch bubble lines, float lines. You're probably gonna have to move a little bit right to line up for the next big black V. It's more important that if you're not absolutely sure you're gonna clear the white breaking wave, if you're not gonna make it the last second, line up parallel with the current. The worst thing is to hit those white curling waves at an angle.
All right, we got this. We're pretty much pointed at our channel right now.
Yep.
And we're gonna cut left after this. All right, we're gonna start looking right. So I'm going just right of that white. Power. Woohoo! All right, into the eddy. You see the tongue to the right? No worries. We're gonna keep going right. Yep. We got it. Woo! Perfect. So you said Eddie left?
Eddie left, revolution!
Woohoo!
Yeah!
Yeah, buddy. That was awesome.
Our first of many.
I hope so.
Instead of coming up there, he came all the way down here. I don't like that.
That's the way we went.
I thought we went in this one.
No, that's the first sneak channel right there.
Oh, look at this channel.
Yeah. That's what we ran, I'm pretty sure. Oh no, we were more right.
We were way over.
Yeah, you're right. That's all right.
I like ours better because then you have that coming down there.
Yep. I noticed all the fur, but you can see the front hooves.
Looks like someone took the antlers.
Yeah. Wow.
That's gnarly.
Good?
Yeah.
All right. Push. Yep. So, yeah, right where we're pointed. Yes. And then we're gonna cut left. And then we're just kind of staying here. I'm gonna go a little bit right to avoid the rock ahead, and then we're gonna cut left after it. So we're going right of this, and then I'm cutting. Not yet. After. And go. Good stuff. All right, I see a channel off to the left. So the white that we're pointed at, we're going just right of it. Yep. Yes. Right. Yep. Yep. We're good, we'll make it. Woohoo! 2 for 2, Megan Mac. Nice job.
Nice job. I did better that time.
You sure did.
I haven't battled in so long.
Like your second run better than your first.
It's a little cleaner, yeah.
We thought we were going over.
Okay, so this took some digging to find this out. Actually, I heard the story from a native elder from Tobic, which is a Maliseet reserve in New Brunswick. Okay, but in the late 1800s, I can't remember the exact date. I'm pretty sure it's like in the period 1860, 1870, somewhere around there. There was a European disease that was spreading amongst all the indigenous Wabanaki communities. Somebody was out at the trading post and brought this back, and like 3/4 of the village was dead within, I think it was like a week or 10 days. The ones who were still alive were afraid to stay there, and they thought they need to leave. So they got into the upper Big Black watershed, and they came down the Big Black River. And then when they were camped at the confluence where the Big Black comes in, the Wolastoq, a number of them came down sick. But we do know a small number of Maliseet survived that second wave of sickness that occurred right at where the campsite is there at the Big Black. But it's still a mystery where they're buried. Dave, the archaeological friend of mine, before he got a hold of some ground penetrating radar, he did some test pits here and also on the other side of the river, and they were definitely finding stuff that goes back 6,000-7,000 years. So this is, historically this was used a lot. And that's pretty true of all confluences of major rivers that you could travel. I'm not an archaeologist. Yeah. But if you just buried 3/4 of your village and you're only taking minimum belongings, and some people might have been sick even when they started it, I don't think you're gonna drag bodies up, a steep embankment. I think most likely this is where most of the archaeological evidence of encampments was on this side. I think most likely they're And just right up in there. Yeah, they're buried because that would not flood. This would flood. I'm not surprised you didn't get anything. This would flood even almost up to here. They had a big ice dam. So that's just me. That's my own.
Wind didn't help me there. All right. Schmoly.
dog racing.
Oh yeah.
That I did volunteer, not this year, but last year.
Up in Greenville.
Yes.
Nice. How was that experience?
That was wonderful. And it was there was a guy that had gone on the English trip with us.
There's day 6, another fantastic day. Made it to the Foxbrook campsite, and this is actually the first campsite that's new to me compared to last year. And this is our last camp. I almost can't believe it. If I had to pick a favorite campsite, I think the Seven Islands is pretty obvious, but I have to say, Turner Bogan, I really enjoyed being back there. Obviously the sunrise helps, but I think something that doesn't quite show up in the video as much is that there's sort of a bog or a marsh really close to the site, and so there's always really loud peep frogs there at night, and there's a lot of bird activity as well, so it feels very alive when you're there at night. But I think today may have been my favorite day. The highlight obviously being Big Black Rapids, especially getting to run it twice. That was definitely a unique twist this year that I really enjoyed. And last year, Big Black Rapids was where I almost got pinned on a boulder about 2/3 of the way down the rapid. So I was a little nervous approaching it this year, but ran it with Megan Mac twice, and we nailed it both times, and I just couldn't be happier with that entire experience. The wind started to kick up in the late morning or early afternoon, but we were very lucky that it was a tailwind, and it was pretty strong at points. There was times when we were crossing dead water zones and nobody was paddling. The stern paddler was just ruddering, and we were just getting blown straight across like flat open sections of water, which was pretty fun. It was definitely a much colder trip than last year. Last year I remember, I think multiple days well above 60 degrees and sunny. We didn't get much sun this year, and we definitely didn't get very much warmth. Today was definitely the warmest day, and I think it might have hit 70 degrees. But one thing that worked in our favor was the water level, which I already talked about. It's just been a stronger current the entire way down, and I feel like there's been less rocks to avoid than last year. But that is actually going to change tomorrow, because we definitely got less precipitation this year. Last year it started raining night 5 and it basically didn't stop through the rest of the trip, and that meant that by the time we got to Big Rapids, which we'll be running tomorrow, it was at about 9,000 CFS. This year we didn't get any appreciable rainfall during the trip, which is definitely nice, especially when it's cold. And so there's going to be roughly half as much water in Big Rapids this year than there was last year, and I think that's going to make it a completely different experience. But overall, I think, obviously this river is amazing, this experience is amazing, but the thing that I remember surprising me last year as well is I never really expect how much of a factor the people I go down the river with are going to be. But both years that I've done this, I've just really fell in love with the group that I've done this trip with, and learning all of the different personalities and backstories, and chatting by the campfires, and over all the meals that we've shared. And it's really wonderful just to bring a group of strangers together who've never met each other, and then 7 days later we're all like pretty good friends who want to meet up in the real world once we're done to do other activities. So I've really come to love that aspect of canoeing and canoeing in groups. I think it's really fantastic.
Yeah, they got sheep. A lot of sheep.
Yeah, do you have that, by the way?
Yeah. Yeah.
Put the grill on. Thanks for doing that. Yep. I don't know if they I just want to thank you. One time I told you that story. The night you did. Yeah, one time I thought, oh man, this is really nice.
Unfortunately, today is our last day, but we still have one big obstacle before us. Big Rapids. Looking forward to seeing how it runs this year.
Okay, so there's 3 sets. The second and third set sort of feed one right after another. The first set is pretty straightforward. It's not that difficult, and there's a little bit of a breathing space. Once we start coming into the second set, the gradient's really going to pick up. Okay. So you don't need to be paddling hard forward. What you need is time to look for pour-overs and V's, channels. We're going to start left of center. We'll still be left for the second set, but then starting to move more towards the middle. You don't want to be far left in the last set. There's huge boulders and pour-overs there. So it's left, second set, get through the worst of that, and then start moving a little bit more to the right. There'll be a few spots where this is a little trickier than Big Black, but not a lot trickier.
Pull over on the left of it.
Yep.
And the right.
Beautiful. Don't want to go right. All right. I see it. We gotta go right. gonna go left of that.
Left?
Yep. Right here, yep. I was talking about that. I'm gonna stay a little bit left. More left. More left. We're good. I'm going over there. Left. Left. All right, we're good.
I saw his dog too.
Nope, gotta go left a bit. Good. And then right. We'll be okay. Left. Good. Beautiful. Oh yeah. That was awesome.
Woo! I'll paddle with you anytime.
Absolutely. Right back at you.
Oh, are we the only ones not bailing?
Yeah, we got like half an inch. It's not even worth it.
No.
You say no?
No, we like rock that. He like every time like cut the waves. Right at the end.
I was just following Kevin straight there.
Amazing.
That's the way I,
we like
that's
cut
just
them
the
over.
way I
We
paddle.
like big waves. We went to the side of them.
I like to get wet when I go down there.
Waves are better than rocks, right?
I actually brought my rain pants for that. We forgot to put them on. So, yeah. I'll dry.
I don't know if you saw me bailing during the rapid.
I did. He was like, you're good. He was like,
That was like pretty funny.
We were literally so heavy I could barely turn the boat. I had water up past my knees.
oh no.
Really? Yikes.
That set of waves, and I was like, yeah. That was fun though.
Well, we managed to survive Big Rapid. Kevin and I were talking on the way to the bridge, and we both agreed that it was actually a little easier to run this year than last year. The pour-overs weren't really too bad, and there were plenty of lanes to pick from. And there were certainly some fun waves, especially in the second set where the gradient is steepest. But overall, it was less scary than last year and just a lot more fun. But that wraps up another unforgettable trip. I'd like to extend a special thank you to Megan Mack for paddling with me down the 2 hardest rapids of the river. And thank you to Luke for being an excellent camp chef and paddle partner at the beginning of the trip. And thank you to Kevin for orchestrating another unforgettable journey down the St. John River.